the volume of a prism. How do you find the volume of a prism? Prism is what we did the other day. See if you can remember that whole thing. How did you find the volume of the prism that we did the other day? There was one formula that went for everything. What was that one formula that went for everything? Everybody remember that one formula, Kenna? E equals B8. What do some of these things mean? What's the B mean? That means volume, right? What were you going to tell me, Logan?
The B is the area of the base.
Yeah, area of base. And, you know, that can depend on what shape it was, right? Like if it was a triangle or if it was a rectangle. And then what's the H stand for? The height of what? The whole prism. Some people will get this confused because if it's a triangle, there'll be two heights, right? Like the height of the triangle and the height of the prism. Sometimes people will get this mixed up. So this is the height of the whole prism. All right, we're going to work off this again today. Okay, we're going to work off this again today. All right, so first of all, cylinder, what is it? It's a figure that has circles as the bases. It's not a polyhedron because it doesn't have a polygon as a base. So it's a 3D figure that has two circular bases, and it's connected by that curved surface. If you want to just draw a picture, you're more than welcome just to do that. What am I doing? Okay, that's what a cylinder is. Now let's think about this. Let's think about this. This is the same formula we're going to use again today. Okay? How would you find the B part? How would you find the B part? Yeah.
Find the area of the circle.
Okay, what's the area of a circle? How do you find the area of that circle again? Yeah?
3.14
Times what?
times r radius.
Times radius. And then times your height. So this is technically the B times the divided height. So if I go to my next slide, that's going to give you the formula. It's the same thing. They're just showing you that this is the B part. If you'd rather write it like this, where you've got an extended version, you can write it with the extended way. That's just the radius times 2 instead of the radius. I'm sorry, not the radius times 2. The radius times itself. Instead of showing to the second power, sometimes it's easier to see it this way, so you don't forget that too. So that's all the formula is. Pi times radius times the height. The same formula. All right, let's do some practice, shall we? All right, so here's my cylinder. If I were you, what I would do is I would write out my formula so I can see everything that I need to fill in. Okay, so I know pi 3.14. What's my radius to this? 3 times 3. My height of the whole thing, if I stand it on its side, how tall it is, it's 12. Now when you get your answer, it's still going to be inches cubed. Don't forget about that. Inches cubed. We're going to round to the nearest tenth again. This is what I got. That's what you got. Okay, so another thing I need to point out is be careful because sometimes they'll show you the whole distance instead of just the radius. So you're going to have to figure out what the radius is again. If it's diameter, you just got to divide by 2 to get what that r would be. And then go ahead and put it in. What questions do you guys have so far? Pretty simple, right? Simple because you already know most of the formula. Okay, you want to try this one? You try this one. Think about what you know. Like I said, I would start by just writing the whole formula out and then fill in what you need to fill in. That way you know you have everything. Wish you guys an example, maybe drawing yourself a picture, love if you're doing a good job. Or at least maybe you guys didn't have a picture for one of them. So this should look like, don't forget 14 is the diameter, so we have to divide by 2. I got this. That's what I got. That's what you got. The fun stuff about, there's something about geometry, like using formulas, it can be foolproof. If you know the formula and you know the numbers to put in, you'll get the right answer every time. So that's like the fun part of this, like all you gotta do is find the numbers and put them into the formula, plug them in, and you should get the answer. Let's do one more, and then I'm gonna give you kind of a story problem, okay? Go ahead, try this. This is a pretty easy lesson today. I really don't want surprises. Round to the nearest 10. I've got a few spaces behind the decimal, I believe. The nearest 10. Anybody want to share their answer? Somebody want to share? Anybody? I haven't heard from you today. Trying to kind of hear out. Anybody else want to share? Yeah, you all did it on your calculator. You all have it in front of you. Why does nobody want to look at me? Oh, now like 4 people just looked at me over here. Share with me. What did you get? Kate, what did you get?
20.5.
20.5. That's a little too low, I think. What did you multiply together?
I did 3.14 times 5.7 times 5.7 times 5.
You have everything correctly. We put that back in the calculator. I think you need to multiply, not add. You have everything right. You just need to multiply, I think. I think you pushed the addition sign. Does that sound better?
Yeah.
What is it now?
510.5.
500 what?
510.
Is that right? I think it should look like that. How it should look like? 510.1. Good. Good. Make sure you're multiplying. I mean, that's an easy mistake to make. I mean, especially if you're using somebody else's calculator, or if you're not using the same calculator all the time, it's an easy mistake to push the wrong buttons. So if you like have your own, you're using some of mine, it's an easy mistake to type the wrong thing. All right, I'm going to go to this one. Okay? It says find the volume of the composite figure. You're going to have some of these in your homework today. So you got to think about what you have. So you have the cylinders up top, right? And then what is this? Rectangular. This is what we did on Friday. So now if they want you to find the volume of the whole thing, you have to find the volume of everything separately and add them together like what we've been doing. So if you want to do the cylinders first, you want to draw it? Do anybody want to draw this? If you want to draw, I'll draw it for you. It's you. Okay, so cylinders, let's see, it's high, radius, height. So it's got everything in there you need to know. So 3.14. the radius of this, so if this is the diameter, what's my radius then? That's 3, what's my radius? Yep, 1.5 times 1.5 times the height is just an inch. This is what I got for 1. Did anybody get this number? Okay, that's only 1 cylinder. How many cylinders are there? 2, because it looks like a Lego, right? So this Lego has 2 of them. So let's multiply by 2. So these are 2 cylinders, the volume of 2 cylinders right there. All right, so then how do we do the rectangular one again? Does anybody remember how to do that? How do we find the volume of the rectangular prism? Alyssa? Okay, what numbers? You're right, but what numbers? So 4 and 5, because that's my base, times by 12, really. 4 times 5 times 12. 60, 6 times 4, I think that's probably 40. All right, so here's your rectangular prism. Here's the circles, or the cylinders, let's add them together. And this is what it should be all together. 12 inches. Right there. It's going to ask you to find some composite figures as well. So just know that you're going to have to know how to find the rectangular prism again, just like we did, plus those cylinders. Plus those cylinders. Let's see. I would like to do one more like that. Okay. I know what I want to do. This is what we're going to do. Here's cylinder 1. Here's cylinder 2. Down all the way to the top. It's like a toilet paper roll. Okay, see the toilet paper roll? It's a little longer than that. So let's say this. Let's do toilet paper. It's probably about 8 inches. Maybe that's probably a bit. 8 inches. My tube right here is probably about 1.5. Okay. So I want you to find the volume of my toilet paper roll. Well, remember, what are you going to do with the middle of that toilet paper? Subtract it because it's not there. Think of a toilet paper roll. You have toilet paper and the tube is empty, right? The tube has to be empty so you can put the thing through it so it stays on the thing. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the volume of the whole a big roll. Okay, so find the volume of the big roll. Don't even worry about what's in the middle yet. Actually, we need to know height, don't we? Height, I don't know, about a height would probably be about, I don't know, probably another 6 inches, I suppose. This is a big fat roll. It's a big fat roll. I should have brought toilet paper today. That's figured out. First, you got to find the volume of the big roll. That's 1.5, just so you know. For the radius, that's a pretty big toilet paper roll. Okay, once you find the 2, you're going to have to take the big one minus the small one because you're literally taking out that middle tube. It's not there. this should be 14.4. Looks so far so good? So far so good? Make sure you're checking your numbers, make sure they correspond with mine. Let me know if I'm wrong, sometimes I'm wrong also, you just gotta tell me. And we're gonna subtract them, we're not adding them this time. Perfect, this is what I got, 259 inches cubed. How's it look? How does yours look? What questions do you have? What's not coming together? Yes? That's fine, it would have been just a little different off this. That's fine. Usually, for the most part, and I did do this, you should just not round until complete end. So, yeah, it's maybe just a little bit. I would still count right. I would still count right. What questions do you have for me? All right, one more, then I'm done. Okay, so the volume of this cylinder is 618 meters. Find the height. Okay, so we're going to be working backwards now. What do we know? Well, I think what we should start with is we should start with writing out our formula and filling in everything we know. They're giving us volume, they're making us find something else. So let's start putting in what we know. Now this is 3.4. The radius here is 4. The height we don't know, we're going to leave him as h, but we know the volume is 618. All right, what will we do next? What should we do next? What is something we can do? Something we can do. What would you do? Anybody? I'll apply the first three. Let's find out what we know there, and at least start getting it down to some smaller things. Okay, next. Now what? 50.24 times height equals 618. What am I going to do next? Brooklyn. Well, we're going to divide it like this. We're going to get rid of it. If I do it on this side, I got to do it to this side. So I'm going to take 618 divided by, what is it, 50.24. It's going to be an icky decimal, but that's okay. So our height's going to be approximately 12.3 meters. That's what it would be. Start working backwards. What's the matter? Not right?
No, that's what I know.
We're close. What's the matter?
Yeah, I wasn't finished yet.
What's that?
I wasn't finished yet.
Okay. You see a discrepancy, you got to tell me. Don't wait till like 5 minutes after the lesson's over. Say, okay, I think this is wrong. I'm gonna do this. So what do you think? Can you handle it? Some of this is going to be given in the short column. It's just going to say like, oh, radius is 6, height is 30, find the volume. It's not always going to give you a picture. If you need to draw yourself a picture, draw yourself a picture. It doesn't matter to me. I need to see everything you're doing on your piece of paper, just like what I have been asking for everything else. Writing out the formula, just what I've been doing on the board. That's good enough for me. So showing me things you're doing, I can help you if you're making mistakes. If you have questions, please let me know. It's on page 598. Actually, I'm sorry, 588. I must have messed up my numbers here. 588. And I'm going to make it through 17, not 16, just to finish the page out. 1 through 17. Oops. Everything we just talked about.